All right, everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. You know how much we all love to geek out on language learning?
I do indeed.
And you know what? Today, we are tackling a big one, something that I think a lot of English learners struggle with.
What's that?
It's listening comprehension. And I'm not just talking about understanding the words.
Yeah.
I'm talking about really getting it when native speakers are talking at, their normal speed with all the connected speech and the accents and everything.
Oh, yeah, that can definitely be a challenge, especially for learners who are used to, textbook English or kind of slower, more enunciated speech you hear in language learning apps.
Exactly right. And, I was actually just watching this video by this amazing language coach, Teacher Sam, who has some seriously clever tips for improving English listening skills.
Oh, I like Teacher Sam. I've seen some of their stuff. They're really insightful.
Oh, they're so good. And in this video, they break down, like why English can sound so fast and how to train your ears to actually catch all those little nuances.
Yeah. Cool. So it's not just about, like listening more. It's about listening smarter.
Exactly. And that's where these tips come in. One of the first things Teacher Sam points out is that native speakers often use this thing called connected speech.
Connected speech.
Yeah, it's basically when words kind of blend together, right? So instead of saying, I am going to, it sounds more like I'm goa. And it can make it really hard to pick out the individual words, especially when people are talking fast.
Right. It's like one long word monster.
I know, and then you add in different accents and regional dialects, and it's no wonder we sometimes feel lost, right?
Totally. But the good news is, Teacher Sam says that even just 15 minutes a day of focused listening can make a huge difference.
15 minutes, huh?
Yeah, just like anything else, it's about consistency.
So it's like building a muscle. The more you expose yourself to the sounds of English, the stronger those neural pathways become.
Exactly. And the amazing thing is your brain actually starts doing the work for you.
What do you mean?
Well, as you listen more, you start to recognize patterns. You begin to anticipate what's coming next, so it becomes easier to follow along, even when the speech is fast or unfamiliar.
So it's like our brains are learning even when we don't realize it. That's pretty cool. And Teacher Sam mentions this technique called shadowing, right? Have you ever tried that?
Oh, yeah. Shadowing is awesome. It's where you listen to a sentence and then you immediately repeat it, trying to match the rhythm and the intonation and even the pronunciation as closely as possible.
So it's like you're the speaker's shadow.
Exactly. And, the science behind it is fascinating. It taps into this thing called the mirror neuron system in your brain.
The mirror neuron system.
Yeah, these neurons fire both when we do an action and when we see someone else doing that same action.
Interesting.
So by shadowing, by mimicking those sounds, we're essentially tricking our brain into learning faster.
That's so cool. It's making listening a much more active process, right?
Absolutely. And Teacher Sam has this great pro tip. They suggest recording yourself while you're shadowing.
Well, that's a good idea.
Yeah. It might feel a little awkward at first, but it really helps you pinpoint areas where you need to focus, like maybe your intonation is a little off, or you're not quite getting the vowel sounds right.
Right, because sometimes you don't even realize how you sound until you hear it back.
Totally. So we've got consistent listening, we've got shadowing. What else does Teacher Sam recommend?
Well, this one's kind of counterintuitive, but they talk about the importance of focusing on keywords instead of trying to understand every single word.
Wait, so you're saying it's okay to miss some words?
Yeah, kind of. It's like our brains are wired to look for patterns and make meaning. So even if we don't catch every single word, we can often still get the gist of what's being said.
Okay, that makes sense. But how do we know which words are the key words?
Teacher Sam has some great tips for that. They say pay attention to the words that are stressed, because those are usually the most important ones.
Stressed words, okay.
And also think about the context, who's speaking, where are they, what's the general topic. All those clues can help you zero in on the most meaningful information.
It's like being a detective.
I know, right? Using all the clues to solve the mystery of English.
And the more you do it, the easier it becomes because your brain gets better at predicting what's coming next. It's pretty amazing.
Now, speaking of clues,
Mhm.
what about subtitles? Does Teacher Sam mention those?
They do, and they actually encourage using them, but with a twist.
A twirl?
Yeah, instead of passively reading along, try using the subtitles to predict what the speaker will say next.
Oh, that's interesting. I've never thought about it that way.
It forces your brain to work a little harder, and it can really improve your word recognition speed.
I like it. It's like turning it into a game.
Exactly, and it's much more engaging than just passively watching.
And finally, Teacher Sam has this really cool tip about embracing the diversity of English accents.
Oh, yes, the accent challenge.
I know, right? They say the more accents you expose yourself to American, British, Australian, even non-native speakers, the more adaptable your ears become.
It's like expanding your listening vocabulary.
Exactly. I remember when I first started listening to podcasts from different countries, I was so thrown off by the accents. But over time, it got so much easier to understand.
Absolutely, because your brain is forming new connections and adapting to the nuances of each accent. The key is to not get discouraged and keep seeking out those diverse voices.
I love that now I know you're all eager to try out some of these techniques, so let's put your ears to the test.
All right, let's do it.
Here are a couple of Teacher Sam's practice sentences. Listen carefully and repeat after me. I'm going to the store. Do you need anything?
Perfect. And how about this one? The weather is really nice today. Let's go for a walk.
Awesome. Now that you've got all these techniques in your toolbox, I want you to think about which English accent you'd like to conquer next. Is there a specific region or country whose accent you find fascinating?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Maybe it's Australian, maybe it's Irish, maybe it's something completely different. Whatever it is, I challenge you to seek out podcasts, movies, YouTube channels, anything you can find from that area, and just start listening.
Yeah, and remember, this isn't about perfection. It's about progress. The more you practice, the more confident you'll become in any English-speaking situation.
So keep experimenting, keep having fun, and get ready to experience the world of English in a whole new way.
Happy listening, everyone.
See you next time.
Bye.